So the statistics I'm about to show you, these are from an infographic from the National Student Safety Survey in 2021. So it's a little while ago, but it's still very recent. And so this is what it's like. So from that survey, about 1 in 6 people who were surveyed had experienced sexual harassment in the last, since they started university, and about half of those people, those incidents had occurred within the last 12 months. It's gendered. I just want to note, when you're looking at this, so it's saying 11.4% of people who identified as female had experienced harassment, 2.9% of males had experienced harassment, and differently described gender. I'm pretty sure that they're talking about transgender and genderqueer people in that. So I just want to express there's a caveat for this. So having gone to SAS training and talked to a couple of the people who work there, it's very much kind of agreed and believed that the statistics for male harassment and assault are extremely underreported. They actually think that it's probably about the same in children. That's what they said. In children, it's the same. I'm unsure of what it is in adults, but a statistic I remember them mentioning is so on average it takes people about 25 years to disclose an incident. So like it's happening more than we think it is, and a lot of people don't actually understand what affirmative consent is and don't understand when an incident has occurred. When I was doing the SAS training, they said only 10% of adults in a survey they had done actually understood what affirmative consent was, which kind of checks out. Anyway, yeah, let's go to the next one. Oh, yeah, you want to go, Liam?
Yeah, is this mic working? No.
Is it working?
How's that? Yeah. So just in terms of this table is actually from UTAS. This is UTAS data. And so this survey was conducted in 2021. Worth noting that we're coming straight out of COVID. Students on campus were much less than they are now. So we actually believe, again, that it's severely underreporting what we would consider normal. The next National Student Safety Survey is being conducted in the first 6 months of next year and will be reported by this time next year. So we will finally have an update from the federal government as to where things stand, and we feel like this next survey is going to give us a better understanding of where we sit. But we generally think that these numbers are really underreported, considering it was conducted during a bit of a biased sample space.
I just have some more screenshots from the survey that go through the other stats from it. So in this one, so about 15% of those incidents occurred in clubs and societies spaces. That's a lot. That's a lot of people. Let's move on to the next one. People didn't seek help. A lot of people didn't know where to get help. That's pretty self-explanatory. Let's go on to the next slide. And most people, kind of roughly half from those, they didn't know how to make a complaint, and they didn't know where to go make that complaint. They didn't know who to get help from. And this is where we get into the more positive stuff. Let's go to the next slide. So this is where we come in. We are community leaders, and being community leaders, we have the power to create spaces where we're educating people and where we are building consent culture. So this here is a graphic from a company in Northern Ireland that runs like similar to SAS. So it's the pyramid of sexual violence. So the idea is that at the bottom we have behaviors that trivialize sexual violence, things like making jokes about it, boys will be boys, or like shaming people's bodies, objectifying people. Or on the other side, I know that those are very directed at violence towards women, but like, there's a lot of kind of jokes around, oh, men always want sexual attention. Like they don't. It's important for everyone. And when people kind of get away with those things at those bottom tier, it makes them feel more like they can move on to the next tier and be like, oh, it's okay for me to, you know, then actually do something that's not consensual. So when we create cultures where it's not okay to do anything at the base level, it makes it a space where people feel like they can't move on. And, you know, it's less likely things will escalate. Doesn't mean things won't happen, but it means we're creating spaces where it's much less likely that these things are going to happen. So, next slide. This one is actually a bit of a heavy one. So, this is another activity. I want you to imagine you're running an event with your society and someone's come up to you and they've told you that something's happened that made them feel uncomfortable. I want you to think about, like, what are some things that you would do and wouldn't do if you're responding to them? I know that this is a bit of a heavy one. Like, if you feel like you need to pass, that's okay. You can just say pass, go up, have a breath of air. If you need an example, let's say someone's saying, I feel unsafe and uncomfortable because person X, you know, touched me inappropriately somewhere where I didn't feel comfortable with being touched when we hugged, when we were dancing on the dance floor, or, you know, when we were doing an activity. Yeah, there you go. That's your activity. All right, are we ready to get a wriggle on? Okay, so Liam has notified me.
So on page 17 of the work booklet from today, there's actually a page all about responding to disclosures. And I mean, this is obviously at the most basic level, but a 4-step sort of routine to go through when someone does disclose to you.
Yeah, and so that's the one that TUSA provides. And the one I'm about to go through with you, this is what we go through when we do our teacher trainings. And this is also very similar to what they do in the SAS training. It's a little snippet. So when someone discloses to you, it's important to believe them, listen to them and acknowledge their experience. You know, I believe you, thank you for sharing with me. Ask them what they want to happen. So don't assume that you know what they want you to do. Someone might just want to tell you what's happened. They might not want you to approach the perpetrator and confront them. Yeah, a lot of the time that happens when I get disclosures at my society. A lot of the time people just want us to know and to kind of monitor that person's behavior. And it's really important to ask yourself, like, are you the right person to be dealing with this situation? So questions that you'd be asking yourself when you ask this question is, you know, am I feeling triggered? Is this making me feel really upset? Do I feel like I have capacity to handle this situation? Do I feel like I have the skills to navigate this situation? Do I feel like I could actually go up to that person and talk to them? You know, and in that situation where you feel like you don't know what to do, what SAS says is find an adultier adult. So really good examples of adulty adults are like Renee from TUSA. She's amazing. She has done so much work with like managing incidents, and yeah, she's amazing. I really recommend chatting with her if you're looking into creating incident report forms or anything along those lines. Another really important thing to do when you're in this situation is recognize if you are kind of getting any of those blamey emotions. So, you know, imagine, like, what if they've told you something that one of your friends did, or someone that you've been hanging out a lot with in that society is the person who's made them uncomfortable. You know, kind of thinking, oh, I know them and they're so nice, they'd never do that. It's really important to remember that consent is really complicated, and sometimes breaching someone's consent, like, it happens. It doesn't mean you're a bad person. It just means that, like, we need to navigate that situation and make sure everyone feels safe and knows what to do moving forward. And I'm not going to go into like how we talk to people when we approach them, but I suppose a kind of little tip that I have learned, some language that we use, is instead of calling out behavior, we talk about calling in. So we're not saying, hey, you've done something wrong, you have to leave. We're saying, hey, like this thing happened. Did you notice like when that happened? Are you aware that it might have made them feel uncomfortable? How are you feeling? Because it can be pretty confronting to be told that you've breached someone's consent as well. And most of the time, in my experience, when we've talked to people about this in our society, a lot of people are like, oh my gosh, I had no idea. Thank you so much for telling me. And just being compassionate and providing spaces. And when it is really serious and you need to escalate, Renee is really helpful and Koos is really helpful. Obviously, don't blame them. We've talked about that. Don't disregard their feelings. Don't put the victim and the perpetrator together. Don't be like, oh, you're adults, go sort it out. Let's have a conversation together right now. Oh, that would be so uncomfortable. Try to remain calm. It can be a really big thing telling someone that something's happened to you and, you know, responding with lots of emotions. Oh, that's so horrible. I'm so sorry. Like, I can't believe that happened to you. Can make people feel more overwhelmed. It's kind of better to stick with, thank you for telling me. Like, I really appreciate that you felt I was a safe space. Like, how are you feeling? What can I do for you? What can I give you that will make you feel better right now? Like, do you need a hug? Those kind of things. Yeah, let's move on. So that's a tiny, weeny little snippet of the SAS training. I'm not a SAS trainer. But for those of you who don't know what SAS is, it's the Sexual Assault Support Service. It's a Tasmanian organisation. They have heaps of different services, including counselling, group therapy, legal support. They also have a 24/7 helpline. I've called the helpline before when I didn't know what to do, and they are so helpful. This is a great thing to do. Like if you're at a society and an event happens and you're like, oh my gosh, I don't know what to do. Call the helpline and just talk to them. They're so helpful. If you can't get a hold of you know, any of the TUSA people. Another service which is relatively new in the city is called Arch. So this is like a place you can go which has services and like different health providers that support people who've experienced sexual harm, and they're all under the same roof. So they've got counsellors, they've got specialist kind of police investigators who are trained in serious events and how to respond. They've got family violence workers, and they've also got medical professionals who can do forensic examinations, that kind of thing. So Arch is the kind of thing you might want to be thinking about if there's been a really serious incident and they want to go seek, you know, legal help, because it's a really safe space where, you know, everyone is trained in how to support you and protect and keep you safe. Yeah, it's never too late to go get those kind of services. I think you can go up to 2 months for medical examinations and things like that. Let's go to the next one. It's on campus. Obviously, there's like the Safe and Fair Community Unit. If there's been an emergency, you can call 000, or you can call campus security if you're feeling like there's something happening in your event that is unsafe, or you need first aid, or you just need someone extra to be there to support you. It's a good one to save in your phone, the phone number, if you haven't already. And the last slide before we get to kind of camp it for society-driven things is, if you don't know, please attend the free sexual assault first aid that TUSA is running. It's such a good workshop and it's free. It usually costs $150. And yeah, it's a really eye-opening experience. It's so helpful. Yeah, I can't recommend it enough to you. What I've just talked to you about is like a tiny snippet of what they talk about. And yeah, they're all just such amazing people. I would really recommend it. Put the date in your diary. It is Tuesday, the 4th of March, from 4 p.m. to 7 p.m. Be there. Okay, now, So I'm gonna talk to you about some things we do to build. Oh yeah, Liam, go.